everybody? Welcome in. It is from the Bleachers, broadcasting live here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave. Whoa, super loud is the voice, you know?
The voice you know.
The voice
wow,
that's
that
coming
was
in hot.
hot. Yikes. Oh, man, that's still.
You're still a little hot there. I got you turned way down, too. I'll fiddle with your settings.
All right. It's that
Well,
darn morning show. They always mess with adjustments.
I don't know what's going on today.
I'm going to blame it on them.
I'm going to, let me check if you think, ooh, yeah, that's a little hot right there.
Okay,
You should be a little better
Is
now.
that better? Oh, yeah, that's a lot better now.
Yeah.
You must have had some. Did you have some recordings in here and have to adjust?
I have some recordings that I had to adjust because I had someone in here earlier today that they talked like this.
Oh my gosh! Don't you just say
very quiet.
Talk into the microphone, please.
Oh no, they were this far away. I mean, they were an inch away from the microphone, but they just were very soft spoken. And I told them, I said, lots of energy. Smile on your face. Let's go. And it was, hey, hello.
It's so
and
funny.
I'm like, all right.
We've seen it before. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time. We see people, when they come in to record, or
it's nerve wracking.
It is
if you've never done it before.
Absolutely. For some reason, that this microphone, for a lot of people, will make them talk soft, or it makes them talk really fast too. I don't know what it does,
or really slow,
or really, yeah.
I've had that too, where
and it's just natural. It's just human nature. It just does it.
Yeah. I've seen it all in the 6 years that I've been around people in microphones. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. But yes, I did have to change some settings on that microphone, and now I had to bring them back. I kind of forgot to. Usually I'm pretty good about getting them back to where they should be, but today not so much.
Yeah,
not so much. So that one's on me. Well, welcome into the show. If you are listening on the radio on 99.5, 95.3, or 93.1 in Cedar, we appreciate you guys listening. Or if you're watching on YouTube as well, we appreciate you watching over there. So I know that there are people that have one or the other. They prefer both. So, but today is one of those days that later in the show, you're really going to want to hop on YouTube if you can. We're going to have some guests in the studio, so that'll be great. If not, you're listening on radio. You know what? That's fine too.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have, we got a great show ahead of us. There's no question about it. We're going to talk some fantasy football. We're going to talk a little MLB. Go over our schedule for this Friday night. Friday Night Lights are back. But also in our second hour, we've got a volleyball team coming up. We've got 3 of them lined up so far. So today we will be being joined by the Desert Hills Lady Thunder, and I know that they have very high expectations for this year, and we'll talk to Coach Allred about that. Excited for them. Tomorrow we'll have the Crimson Cliffs Lady Mustangs in the house, and then on Wednesday we will have the Snow Canyon Lady Warriors in the house. So stay tuned for the Lady Flyers, Lady Panthers, Lady Tigers, and hopefully, keep our fingers crossed, the Lady Reds.
Yeah, we're hoping to get them all in if we can. That's definitely the plan. So if that is the case, if that happens, then phenomenal. We'll try to get them all on here. And then, of course, we are going to be streaming on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So if you have a family member that missed it and you say, hey, I really wanted to see that, you can always go back and watch it on YouTube. So
and we've done this before. We've had softball in here before. We've had volleyball in here before as well. And when those girls come into the studio, the energy just picks up. I don't know what the difference is. And again, yeah, boys, I'm knocking on you. The girls are the energy just raises when they come into the studio. I love having the softball teams, the volleyball teams, the girls basketball teams come in studio because they are a ton of fun. I can't wait to get that started today.
I can't either. It's going to be a blast. I'm super excited. I know you're excited. Hopefully the listeners are excited. Well, today, yes, we are talking about that, but that'll be coming up later in the show. Right now, Mark, what do we want to get to right now? There's a lot of stuff from the weekend, like you mentioned, some baseball, some football. One thing I think I wanted to start out talking about, did you see the fight between Red Sox and Guardians?
Oh, my gosh. Yes, I did.
Ramirez had a pretty good right hook.
Yes, he did.
He had a pretty good right hook.
Yeah,
For someone who wasn't the one that started it either.
Yeah. So the only thing that I never got to was what started the whole thing. So
it must have been something said. That's the only thing I can think of is something must have been said.
Yeah, because he was sliding into second, and he was straddling the fielder was straddling the player, tagged him, and then and then just all chaos breaks loose. But yeah, that was very certainly very entertaining to watch as well, because it wasn't just a push. I mean, there were some punches thrown, couple landed. Yeah, fun times for sure.
Well, the fallout from it is that Tim Anderson, the White Sox, has been suspended for 6 games, and Jose Ramirez has been suspended for 3 games. And then also the pitcher, Emmanuel Clase? I don't know how you pronounce his last name. He has 1 game suspension. So,
and along with Guardians manager Terry Francona, suspended 1 game and also fined an undisclosed amount. Guardians third base coach Mike Sarbaugh suspended 1 game, fined an undisclosed amount. White Sox manager Pedro Grifol suspended 1 game, fined an undisclosed amount. And White Sox righty Michael Kopech and Guardians infielder Gabriel Arias each fined an undisclosed amount in their involvement in this brawl. I see that you have the video pulled up, Caden. Is that going to be for all of us to enjoy?
Yeah. I pulled it up, and I assume this is the NBC Sports Chicago, their call of it. Let's see if I can get that queued up here, ready to go for us.
Oscar's throw is not in time.
He just missed him at second base. This is another rocket of a throw, and now...
Oh, boy.
Now
oh, my goodness. Here come the benches. Off we go. It started with Anderson and Ramirez. Swings being taken. Kopech had to hold him back, and everybody's spilling out here in Cleveland.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there was some bad blood before that. I don't know if there's history with these two players or these two teams. But yeah, I mean, it looked like a normal play. It didn't look like there was anything dirty going on with the tag or the slide. I mean, I don't know if Ramirez thought it was disrespectful that Anderson was straddling him, or I mean, I just don't know. Like you said, unless something was said about his mom or something. I don't know.
I don't know either. But again, you talk about, he was straddling, he was standing over the top of him.
But I see infielders do that sometimes. That's
but how long is too long to stand there before it's like, all right, you can move, let him get up, you know? I don't know. And I don't even know if that was it. That's just me kind of spitballing.
I am reading this story on CBS Sports that and this is what it says. Anderson was covering the bag and stood over Ramirez after applying the tag. That led to an exchange of words, and that in turn led to the throwing of punches. You know what? I watched the play just barely. I saw it over the weekend. I didn't think that anything that Anderson did on the White Sox was any type of like disrespectful. I didn't think that he stood over him too long, or I think this is Ramirez just kind of, losing it a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, watching that, did you see anything that was disrespectful at all?
No, I didn't see anything that was disrespectful. But again, I think it comes down to words. Somebody must have said something. But what's interesting is Ramirez, he must have said something that got after Anderson, because Anderson was the one that threw the glove off and put up the dukes.
Yeah,
and
he was like,
he's up there. He's ready to go. I saw a breakdown from someone on social media that was like, all right, we're breaking down the fight. And he talks about Anderson. He's like, this is where Anderson's biggest fault was he squared up to strike with the left, and he's a righty. He's got to turn his body, and he's like getting into it like he's actually commentating on an actual fight. It was really funny the way he was getting into it. But
right.
Either way, I don't know. Do you feel like there's a place for fighting in baseball? Hockey has its place for fighting. It happens all the time in hockey. What about baseball?
Most of the time it's not really fighting like that. Most of the time it's like everybody,
it's a little shoving match, even if that.
Yeah, they come out of the dugouts, they come out of the bullpens, and there's just some points going on, and
maybe poking in the chest or something.
Yeah, but this was actually a legit throwing some right and left hooks. I just watched it again. And again, I just don't see anything that Anderson did that caused Ramirez to do that. So anyway, interesting. But yeah, it's one of those things that's been going on in baseball from day one. So yeah. I kind of enjoy it sometimes just to see the fire in their belly a little bit. But
do you remember the fight between who was it? Bautista and Odor?
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one.
That was, yes.
I feel like, not that this one's on par with that, because I don't think it is. I think that one was actually a pretty good one. But very, very rarely do you see punches actually thrown and landed. Sometimes people throw punches, but they just don't land. This one landed pretty good. It knocked him back on his butt.
It really did. I'm watching it again. He stands over, I just don't see. I think Ramirez just he must have been annoyed. The thing is he was called safe. So, I mean, I don't know why he would be that annoyed with Anderson and the Whites and the Chicago White Sox. So,
yeah, it just had to have been, there had to have been something else a little more in depth with it all. But I don't know.
I think this generation of players just mentally weak.
Okay. Sure.
Just things get, I don't know. That just seems.
Well, I think,
I'm looking at it, and I just don't see anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong. But here's the thing. I feel like there were more fights 20, 30 years ago than there are now, though.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So I wouldn't say it's necessarily mentally
But those
weak,
were, no. I'm saying fighting, I think, is acceptable. I guess so. Okay. No, it's what causes it. Just like the standing over him for maybe 2 seconds longer than he should.
Was that the reason for the fight, or was it
back in the day
calling him names that we probably couldn't say on the radio?
I mean,
if that's the
looking
case,
at it, you can't.
I can't read their lips.
Tell.
Yeah.
You can't. It doesn't look like he's like looking down and talking to him or saying anything. But back in the day, fights were really caused by, beaning in the head, because that was something that
is pretty common.
You could do. I mean, really. Nowadays, the pitchers are tossed, so they're a little more careful with that now. But that used to be the reason why dugouts and bullpens would clear before, is because of going for the head and stuff like that. But I don't know. It was entertaining over the weekend. Regardless, I saw it all in my X feed and my my Instagram feed all weekend long. It was kind of fun.
I beat a kid in the head once, not on purpose. Back in Little League days.
Well, of course
I beat a kid in the head once.
Oh yeah, who hasn't?
Yeah, he leaned into it too. Oh, it made me so mad.
He leaned his head into it.
No, I'm not gonna lie. It was a pitch. It was high and inside. Don't get me wrong, but the kid ducked like it was coming for his head. And it dropped down in and then hit him in his head because he ducked into it. I was like, that would have been perfect. That was a great pitch. Well, inside corner, high inside corner, and he ducked into it. I was so mad. It's a long time ago. Yeah. I probably shouldn't hold that grudge.
I don't think you should.
I really don't. But
there's a lot of little leaguers that get hit because that's that age that
you just don't
know what to do.
There's
not a lot of control.
Yeah. That was one thing that I prided myself on, even at the age of 11 and 12, was I had pretty good control over my pitches. I just didn't have a lot of speed on my fastball and not a lot of control on my curveball. I could throw a good breaker.
Yeah.
It could break really well. I couldn't control where it was going to go, though.
Right.
I could control the break, couldn't control where.
Well,
good times.
Since we're talking Major League Baseball, let's go ahead and update the standings.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Milwaukee is holding on to that NL Central only by a game and a half over your Cubbies.
Hey-o.
And the Cincinnati Reds, both 1.5 games back. Atlanta, they are the big winners right now. They are 70-36. I believe that's the best record in baseball. The
70-39 right now.
Are they?
Yeah, 70-39.
Oh, 70-30. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 70-39. Baltimore has won 70 games, but they've lost 42.
Yeah, they played more.
We'll get to them in a few minutes. And in the National League West here, the Dodgers with a 4-game lead over their hated rivals, the Giants. And right now, the Dodgers kind of taking it to the Padres right now, too. Sorry if you're recording this game at home, but they have a pretty good, sizable lead right now. And then in the wild card in the National League, there's a really good race in the wild card. Now, not just for the third spot, which there's a great race for that, but even
that second spot,
even that
good.
First and second spot, both Philly and San Francisco are tied at 61 and 51. Chicago Cubs currently hold
by half a game.
By a half a game, hold that lead over the Cincinnati Reds and Miami.
The Reds and the Marlins.
Yeah. So, I mean, officially it's tied with the Cubs and the Reds.
Yeah.
But because the Cubs have, for some reason, a loss.
Less losses is better than
more
wins.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, those two, 58 and 54 for the Cubs, 59 and 55 for the Reds. So tight race. And then, like you said, Miami, a half a game back, and Arizona, 1.5 back. Now, they're kind of dropping a little bit, Arizona. So keep an eye on them. I'm just kind of looking at their last 10. They are 2-8. They've lost 6 straight.
Yikes.
This is kind of the Diamondbacks that I was expecting.
Yeah, they started out so good. And now they're just kind of dropping. San Diego's making their way up. San Diego could even potentially overtake them here shortly. I mean, you look at it, they're 2-8 of the last 10. San Diego 6-4, so they're definitely on their way. Arizona on their way down, San Diego on their way up. I think they could flip-flop here in the next couple weeks, probably. But you're right. I mean, as far as the actual race itself goes, Philly, San Francisco, that's kind of fun to watch them go back and forth right now. Chicago, Cincinnati, that's also divisional. They're going to play each other again here shortly. That one's going to be important, that series.
Yeah.
And really just the rest of the season to try to find a spot in the playoffs, which is so weird. Chicago held off on any major trades. They decided to keep Bellinger, who National League Player of the Month last month. So again, they're pretty hot right now. Won last 2, but they are 7 of 3 in the last 10. It's interesting.
Yeah,
see what's going to happen there.
Over in the American League, in the AL East, Baltimore holds a 3-game lead over Tampa Bay, followed by Toronto, New York, and Boston. Minnesota, they hold a 4.5-game lead over Cleveland. And the Texas Rangers right now hold a 2.5-game lead over the Houston Astros. Texas has won 6 straight. They're 7-3 their last 10 games. Now, in the American League wild card, some really good races going on right now. Right now, you've got Tampa Bay, Houston, and Toronto currently holding those spots. And Seattle, New York, Boston, all chasing for that third spot. Seattle, 2.5 games back. New York Yankees, 4.5, and Boston, 5. Your Angels are kind of dipping back. They're 7 games back to that third spot.
They learned how to win a game, then they might not be so bad.
Yikes.
But yeah, they can't buy a win right now.
Oh.
And literally, they can't buy a win. They went out trying to be buyers in the trade deadline, and
can't buy it.
They literally cannot buy a win right now.
And again, I think that
it's tough.
Postseason play is a must for the Angels to keep Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
I don't even think if they make the playoffs, they keep him. But on the off chance that there's that off chance of keeping Shohei, they have to make the postseason. So he wants to go somewhere where he's going to challenge, where he's going to play in the postseason. Because like Babe Ruth says, that's where legends are made.
And it's not going to be the case for the Angels this year.
I don't think so.
if you ask
7
me.
games back. And, I mean, mathematically, they're still alive. They've lost 6 straight. They're 2-8 their last 10. That's not going the correct direction
Right.
to keep Shohei.
It's not going to happen. Sorry, but it's just not. If you ask me, it's not happening.
Well, you're a Debbie Downer today.
I'm happy about the Cubs. I'll take the Cubs all day long. I think that's happening.
And who thought that, really?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, you would have probably thought that the Cubs were dead in the water.
I thought that they would really they would have to fight hard to have a chance, and they have fought hard.
Because we kind of
that's
thought
part of it.
Bellinger was on his way out, that they were going to be
Well,
sellers.
if they were going to be sellers, then yes. I was like, they're done if they're sellers. They ended up not being sellers, and look where they're at now. And that's the thing is in the offseason, they picked up Swanson. They picked up Bellinger, right? They picked up some pretty good names that have good bats historically. And it just wasn't quite coming together, wasn't quite clicking. And now all of a sudden it is. And the Cubs are on their way up again right now, which is good for the Cubs, obviously. Like you mentioned, there are certain teams that when they're good, it's good for baseball. When the Cubs are good, it's good for baseball.
Yeah, they're 16-7 since the All-Star break, best in baseball.
Yep. Awesome. It's amazing. Let's take a break. We got more coming up next. Stick around with us here on From the Bleachers. Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Corns for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Welcome you back into the show here. And this week is a big week. We have Region 9 football this week.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait.
It's going to be pretty amazing. I'm excited. I know you're excited. We're going to be talking about that, of course, coming up. But
And pretty much all week long, by the way.
Yeah, we'll be getting into a lot of region stuff, Region 9 stuff coming up throughout this whole week.
Yep.
At some point today, we'll dive into our broadcast schedule so you guys know which games we're going to be covering this week. I'll tell you what, week 1, it starts out with a bang.
Yeah, it does.
So get ready for that. Stick around. We'll be talking about that coming up later in the show. But right now, we got to get into one of our segments. This one, to me, is one of my favorite segments that we do, and it's time to bring it back. It is time for 4 Downs. So, let's dive on into it. Mark, we'll start with you. You got the first down.
First down. You better have them high on your fantasy draft boards. Because Brock Purdy's going to be ready to go. Mike Shanahan says he's going to be ready. He's ready now. Those are quotes from Coach Shanahan. Now, we all know that Purdy had well-documented rehab from his UCL surgery this past March, and he is ahead of schedule. Probably don't expect to see him in the preseason, but Coach Shanahan did say he's ready now. So I'm assuming with that comment that if the NFL season was to start this Sunday, he would be out there. Again, preseason football, I think especially now with, being 3 games of the preseason, I think it's going to get to where the point you're not even going to see those skill players, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the running backs. You're probably not even going to see them in preseason. If you do, it might be for like one series. And maybe it's in that middle game. Maybe it's in the first game. But you're not going to see starters. It's gotten worse and worse as time. When I say worse, I'm talking about seeing starters in the preseason games. It's gotten worse and worse as time goes on. I think this year there's going to, and it kind of started last year as well, where you won't even see starters.
Now, and historically,
at all.
You saw starters for the first half of the first game in preseason,
yes,
and
exactly.
then that was kind of it, right? Yeah. I will be surprised if we see them more than that, if sometimes at all.
Yep.
Guys like, for example, I don't think we'll see Aaron Rodgers. Heck, they've already played a preseason game. The Jets haven't.
Right.
He didn't even dress.
Right.
We probably won't see him. Some guys that we will see, we'll probably see Jimmy G with the Raiders. We'll probably see Derek Carr out there.
With Jimmy G's history of injury, I don't think you'll see him at all.
Maybe best not to.
I really don't.
Yeah.
Again, because he's familiar with the system. He has to refamiliarize himself with McDaniel's system, but he knows the system.
Yeah.
So it's not like something that he has to do. He just needs to get chemistry with his wide receivers, his offensive linemen, running back. Hopefully we see Josh Jacobs. Hopefully his contract gets a resolution to it here soon so he can start developing that chemistry with the offensive line and Jimmy G. But again, Brock Purdy, put him high on your draft boards. Just kidding. Quarterbacks don't go fast, but he is ready.
Now, with that said, what if, again, he's coming off of surgery. What if he gets injured?
Well, then
you got really want to take him that high?
Then you got you're talking fantasy football.
I'm talking fantasy football.
Oh, no, you're not taking Brock Purdy until the 10th round.
I mean, he's probably
biggie.
He's my second quarterback.
Yeah,
you're not going to put him as your
if
first.
He's your QB1, you got QB problems.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, on the San Francisco 49er side, if Brock Purdy goes down, my goodness, you got Trey Lance just waiting to
flip-flop him,
take his spot. So, and as far as fantasy football is concerned, I think there's some fantasy football fans that would prefer Trey Lance to be the starter for the Niners because he is a better fantasy football quarterback because of his legs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So-
He can get you a lot more yards.
Yeah, wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see. All right, let's get to second down. I don't know if you saw this, Mark, but the Philadelphia Eagles had a practice where they invited the fans to show up, right? They're training camp practices right now. 50,000 people entered Lincoln Financial Field to hang out and watch the Eagles practice, check out Jalen Hurts and the rest of the crew. 50,000. Now when we're
That's
talking
pretty good.
Now when we're talking about practice, usually you don't have a lot of people showing up to practice. There was it last year at a Washington Commanders practice? They had 2 fans.
Yeah.
2 fans. The Eagles had 50,000.
50,000. By the way,
The
you're getting,
hype is real.
you're getting pretty good on that button bar.
I was ready for
That
it.
was good.
I was ready
like
for it.
Yeah, that really is quite amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now-
50,000 people. I think that's about what Allegiant Stadium holds down in Las Vegas.
I think they're around 60 something.
But that would be
that's-
almost a packed house for
That's
practice.
80 to 90% capacity. Now, there was a
Jeez.
video. I don't have the video pulled up in front of me. I wonder if I can kind of quickly find it real quick. But the video shows the stadium, Lincoln Financial, and it is packed. I mean, we talk about we knew it was full, obviously, but the video just doesn't. Let's see. I got it right here. Let me see if I can get this pulled up on our screen for our YouTube audience.
Holy smokes.
Let me get this over here for our YouTube viewers so you guys can see it. But here we go. Yeah, there you go. It's our you can see just how many people are in the stadium
That's for practice.
for practice.
Hey. Super Bowl champions.
Super Bowl champions. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is good.
So, anyways, that was my. What were we on? That was my second down.
Yep.
Mark, it's all you.
Well, with the Hall of Fame inductions done for the class of 2023, congratulations to all of those football Hall of Famers now. Let's turn our attention to 2024 Hall of Fame inductees. Now, Caden, I'm going to name a name, and you say yes or no to Hall of Fame induction.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to start. Boy, there's so many. Okay, let's go with, here's one that we've talked about. Quarterback Andrew Luck.
No. Longevity.
Yep. Punter Marquette King.
No.
Linebacker Brian Arakpo.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Defensive end Greg Hardy. Now, he got into drugs a lot.
I'm
He
gonna
was in
say
trouble
no.
a lot. He got in
Well,
trouble
I'm
a lot.
on a no streak.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, these
but
guys
no.
are on the bottom part of this list,
Yeah.
okay? And I'm working my way up, just FYI.
Okay, I'm getting to a lot of no's so far.
Okay, how about I'm gonna scroll forward, scroll up top a little bit. How about wide receiver Jordy Nelson?
Oh, he's pretty good
No,
back in the
he's
day.
no Hall of
but he's
Famer.
no Hall of Famer. I agree with you on that. I
Okay.
mean, if I'm talking Jordy Nelson or Jerry Rice, which one?
Big difference.
I mean, yeah, I liked him. He was good, but
Okay, we're gonna get into some tough ones here, though.
okay.
How about safety Eric Berry?
I'm still leaning towards no. Going off of what you claim is Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
if I have to think about it, the answer is no. I have to think about it, so the answer is no.
Tight end Antonio Gates.
Yes. He's
I-
in.
Completely agree. And edge rusher Julius Peppers.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is how this list goes on CBSSports.com. Edge Julius Peppers, tight end Antonio Gates, safety Eric Berry, defensive lineman Halati Nagata, running back Jamal Charles, wide receiver Brandon Marshall. Obviously, these guys are all eligible. Certainly,
There's some good names there.
I
There's some good
really
names.
think only the top two, maybe safety Eric Berry gets into. I'd have to go back. I remember Eric Berry really well.
I just don't remember him all that well personally.
I would have to go back and look at his how many times he was a Pro Bowler, how many picks he had, how many pass defense. I'd have to go look a little bit. I have to do a little research. I'm not saying no to Eric Berry. I would just have to refresh my memory on his stats and how good he actually was. But certainly Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates in the Hall of Fame.
He played from 2010 to 2018. Just kind of looking at some of his stats.
8 years. I mean,
he had 14 interceptions in his career. The most in a year was 4.
And I'm thinking of the right guy too, like the Chiefs, right?
Played for the Chiefs
his
whole career. Yeah. I mean, he did have a good career for sure. Like he had a good career.
14 picks.
But I don't know if it's a Hall of Fame career.
I'm leaning no, just off of those stats right there.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know.
It seems like all 14 of those picks came against the Raiders because
probably did.
I remember Eric Berry being a lot better than that.
Yeah, maybe they did. He was in the Pro Bowl 5 times.
5 out of 8.
It's so tough. I don't know. For defensive players and for safeties, it's a different story than when you're talking like quarterbacks and stuff.
But as a safety, only an 8-year career. That's really not. I think that's probably a little bit lower than average. Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like safeties play until about 34, 35.
Maybe 10. They're
I don't know.
They're probably solid for 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think so. All right. Well, let's see. That was our third down. Let's get to it. Let's wrap it up. The Saints.
Yep.
Alvin Kamara is suspended for 3 games.
Yeah, I saw that.
So what are the Saints going to do? Here's what they're considering doing. Now, first off, let me say this. So Alvin Kamara, 3-game suspension. He's out. Benjamin, he's out the whole season after tearing his Achilles. So they're now down to Jamal Williams, who just came in from the Lions, broke Barry Sanders' record last year, the most touchdowns in a season.
How dare he?
He's,
all right.
Shout out to the BYU kid. Anyways, in Kendre Miller as well. So they don't really only have 2 backs in the lineup total. They're thinking about bringing in a very familiar name.
Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott.
Kareem Hunt.
That was my third guess.
Kareem Hunt. He is brought in for a visit today. So we'll see what they offer him. 28 years old. Okay, so he's not old, but he's old for a running back. You know what I mean? He spent his last 4 seasons in Cleveland. I just don't know.
And,
it's an interesting name to bring in.
He started with the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt did. You know what? He would be a really good option.
It's a good addition for sure.
And Kareem Hunt has been in a role the last couple of teams, even when he was with the Chiefs, where he splits time. So he's not going to have that ego, I think, like a Zeke Elliott would have. And maybe I'm wrong about Zeke, but this is just what I kind of perceive from him, that he would want to be a 3-down back, the starter. I think with Kareem Hunt, I think he'd come in with the right attitude of, hey, I'm going to be in a rotation, a limited role, a rotation. He is great out of the backfield. He would be a tremendous 3rd-down back for them. But
that's what they have Jamal Williams for.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting a little bit of a redundancy.
Dude, I think Jamal Williams is probably
at this point in their
better
careers
than Kamara. At this point in their careers, yes.
Jamal is killing it. He killed it last year.
Yeah, I know.
He was the best running back that the Lions had last year.
Yeah.
Really? I mean,
yes, 3-4 years ago, Kamara was
far and away. Yeah,
top 3 fantasy football pick.
Yeah.
But
he's gone downhill.
He probably won't even get. Being that he's suspended for 3 games, I mean,
he'd be one that someone's going to pick up, throw on the bench.
I can't imagine.
What happens if they go in and Jamal Williams is out there just running all over the field?
That's the thing.
And he's rushing for over 100 yards every game at least, right?
Yeah.
You got to keep him in the lineup.
Absolutely,
but,
you do.
You put Kamara in, let's say he goes in and he rushes for like 50 yards in the first game back. It's like, okay, well, we got to get Jamal back out
It'll
there.
be interesting to see how that plays out.
I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, Jamal's got himself a starting spot locked up just because Alvin can't be out there.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure.
Yep. There you have it. 4 downs. Good way to talk a little bit of football, some stories, some obscure stories that are around the league.
Yeah, certainly one of our favorite segments that we do, 4 downs. And it's so good to have content back that we can actually talk about sports. My goodness, that was a long, hot summer.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me. Jeez.
It's so nice to have NFL back that we're talking about consistently. I know it's preseason, but we've got fantasy football we're going to be talking about. We've got local high school football. We've got Utah Tech football. My goodness, we've got Utah football. We're going to be talking BYU. It's just so nice to have football back in our repertoire.
Absolutely.
So good.
Absolutely. Let's step aside for a sec. We gotta take a break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking more football. We're going to be getting into a little bit of fantasy football talk. So stick around with us here on From the Bleachers. More coming up next.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network, broadcasting out of the Findlay Hyundai studio. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Mark, we got some fantasy football to talk about today, and I got to tell you, it's been nearly a year.
Yep.
Last year, when it came down to our office fantasy football tournament, I won.
Yep.
But did I really win? I won nothing. I just won the pride of winning.
Yeah.
And I'm a little upset. I think we need to change this. I think we need to have an actual prize.
Oh, for sure. Well, to have a prize, you got to put in add to the ante.
Give me a $5 gift card to Chick-fil-A. I'm happy, but something.
Because there has been talk around the office to do.
Come on.
A tiny fee.
Oh, geez, the fees.
I mean, if you want a prize,
I get it.
Here
I'm really
you
not
are.
I'm really not that upset
No,
about it. I just thought I'd bring it up.
You've been thinking about this for 9 months.
I really only just thought about it now. I was like, during the break, I was like, oh yeah, I won last year. I was thinking, like, who won last year in our fantasy tournament? And I was like, oh, I did. And then I said, hey, I gotta talk about this, vent about my frustrations.
Right.
I'm not really that frustrated. Right. But it is fun when there's actually something on the line. Here's the thing. I've been seeing a lot of this stuff online. Less about what do you do for the winners and more about what do you do to punish the losers. The person that takes last.
Yeah, that needs to be added in more. There's fantasy football.
Yeah, there's a lot. Where I've seen one where they do relegation.
What's relegation?
Like what happens in Premier League soccer, where if you take last, you don't get to play next year.
Oh.
And then you're put on the waiting list for the next year. And someone gets to come up. So if you take last, you don't get to play next year.
That's
harsh.
That is harsh.
That's
kicking
harsh.
somebody out of the league because they're last.
Tell you what.
Why haven't we done that to the Jets for the past 10 years?
One of these days, I'm going to get a list, maybe sometime this week, okay? I will get a list together of all of the fantasy football punishments for the person that takes last, and we will do a fan, not a fan, of fantasy football punishments.
I like it, dude.
And you'll let me know if you think that they're a good idea or not, if you are a fan or not a fan.
Right.
So, all right, well, let's get to it. Let's talk about fantasy football since we're already starting on the subject and talk about some of the top fantasy football picks, some draft prep for our listeners here on From the Bleachers.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to get going. Right now, I remember, I just know that over the weekend, I'm on this text thread that we're setting draft dates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to start putting the time in, start to put your time in to win your fantasy football league. And at first, so today, let's just talk about average draft top 12 overall. So this is the average, the top 12 on average. Now, in one quarterback leagues, quarterbacks aren't existent in the first couple of rounds. So there are some quarterbacks in this top 12, but these are the quarterbacks that are the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
But normally in one quarterback leagues, you usually don't draft your quarterback until much, much later in the draft. Now, I'm in a 2-quarterback league, so quarterbacks become much more valuable. Some of them are taking in the first round.
And I think that's a way to preface this is just remember, anytime people talk fantasy, know what kind of league you're in. Because sometimes I do think there are people that hop into a fantasy league that maybe don't understand all of the rules of their specific league. You got to know which league you're in, right? Because that will change the way that you draft. So the way that they're talking now, and I think that the most standard is to draft 2 quarterbacks. I feel like that's kind of become really popular. So a 2-quarterback league.
When I say 2-quarterback league, I can actually start 2 quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, where you can still have I'm saying 2 quarterbacks where 2 quarterbacks get points.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's become really popular.
I like it a little bit better.
I think most people do.
I like the emphasis on quarterbacks.
And you still have your flex.
Yeah, you still have another flex. Yeah, you have a flex, and then you have a super flex.
Yeah, usually you have a quarterback usually this is how it's like set up. I believe it's like a quarterback, 2 receivers. I think you have 2 running backs even, a tight end, a flex, your super flex, which could be a quarterback if you want it to be. And then, of course, your defense, your kicker, whatever.
Now, just know that I would take this guy in the first round, whether I was in a 1 quarterback league or certainly a 2 quarterback league, because he's also a running back. Coming in at number 12, Jalen Hurts, quarterback of the Eagles.
That's a top quarterback. I would pick him up first round. Absolutely.
I mean, because again, he's going to get you points in the air. He's also going to get you points on the ground.
Yeah. Especially when you have receivers like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Yeah, he's going to get some good passing yards and rushing yards.
Right.
At 11, though, you have one of the top receivers in the league in Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. I mean, and hopefully Tua is his quarterback. So they seem to have a really good chemistry towards, when they were both on the field together. So
yeah.
I think with Tua under center, Tyreek is a more valuable wide receiver than if somebody else is. Derrick Henry comes in at number 10, running back for Tennessee.
I'd be weary of that one, personally.
I had him last year, and it wasn't great.
Exactly.
Looking back, I should have probably, again, depending on what kind of fantasy football you're playing, in a PPR league, Derrick Henry might not be as valuable as somebody else, and there's a couple of them, up on this list. Running backs that not only run the ball, but they also catch the ball too. Derrick Henry, great runner of the football. Plus, he's going to get you some end zone, some yard, a goal line carries as well. But again, if I'm sitting there at number 8, picking the draft, and Derrick Henry sitting there, it'll be too tempting for me not to take him.
Yeah,
because he can be a beast.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Number 9, Bijan Robinson with Atlanta, another running back.
Wait, a top 10 fantasy player on the
Atlanta.
Falcons?
Now, he, of course, has a lot of hype around him. That's kind of where this is coming in, is just the fact that there's hype. He's obviously very young. I always have a hard time taking younger guys like that. I think that he can do well. I don't know if he's a top 10. It's just so hard because there's so much unknown.
When choosing a running back, if you choose a running back on a losing team like Atlanta's going to be, or a team that's losing a lot in the second half, note to self, they're not going to run the ball to get back in the game.
Yeah.
So again, when selecting running backs, try to select a running back from a winning team, because they're going to use him to close the game out, run the clock, run the ball. So again, that would scare me, just the fact that he's on the Falcons.
Sure. Now, last year for Texas, by the way, I'm not talking Texans, I'm talking Texas Longhorns College.
Okay. Yeah.
He rushed for 1,500 yards.
Oh, sure.
It's not like he's not a good running back. The kid's spectacular.
Yeah.
He tore it up last year. But the NFL's different.
The NFL's
not
different.
Everybody translates.
And also, too, even if he does translate, his second half carries, if they're down 30, if Atlanta's down 31 to 13 in the middle of the third quarter, they're not running the ball anymore.
Not at all.
So it'll be very difficult. Again, when selecting running backs, that's something to think about.
Absolutely.
Just FYI.
Absolutely.
Number 8, Travis Kelce, tight end. We know that he is probably the tight end. I mean, there's a couple others to make an argument for, one being Kittle. But and I would definitely take him top 10. I know people are like, tight end, top 10. You know what?
It's not because he's
Look
a tight
at it.
end. It's because he's a receiver.
No, it is because he is a tight end.
He's
so
fair. I get what you're trying to say.
Here's my explanation. You're in head-to-head leagues, and if your tight end scores 24 points, which Travis Kelce will do on a regular basis, and your opposing tight end, if you don't get one of those top 3 tight ends, you're going to be scoring 13 points a game. In one slot, I've outscored you 10 points. So get the best ones out there.
Yeah, you're right. You want the best at every position.
Wide receivers, they're a dime a dozen. Get one of those top 3 tight ends.
I like that.
That's advice from me, and I've won championships. I know some of my buddies are out there like, shut up, but I have.
At number 7, we'll do number 7, then we'll take a break. We'll get to the top half after this. Saquon Barkley with the Giants. Now, after the season he had last year, this actually would be a decent pickup. He kind of proved himself again last year, and if he continues to have the kind of season that he had based off of what they did, then that's an okay pickup. I like it.
Hopefully he doesn't have Ezekiel Elliott's attitude. Once he got the money and the contract, he didn't play. I mean, not hard.
That's true. All right, we'll take a break. Top 6 coming up next.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
welcome back in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers here, 5 o'clock hour on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster here, and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
We welcome you back into the show. Now, we are talking about some fantasy football pickups you should probably consider when doing your fantasy football drafts. I know those are going to be coming up soon, so we're getting into it. Some top 12 right now, just overall top 12 on average. This is our top 6. There were 12 on the list.
Yep.
We're getting to the top 6. At number 6, it is quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Certainly deserved right there. Here's the deal. So, I hope this doesn't come to fruition. Like if I have pick number 6 in the draft and Patrick Mahomes is still there along with Saquon Barkley, Travis Kelce, Derrick Henry, and company, do I take Patrick Mahomes? Probably not. Because I can't cheer for a Chief, nor can I cheer for a Bronco.
See,
they will never be on my team.
I was like, yeah, I would. And then when you said no, I'm like, why?
And you're probably wondering, now, you're probably wondering, Mark, how have you won championships before? Well, I have. And I don't have Broncos, nor do I have Chiefs.
I have a hard time putting Cowboys on my team. I've done it, and it hurts.
It does. I won't do it. You're better than me if you've done it.
You know, well, because I have to look at it this way. I'm not putting the team. I'm putting the person. And in some ways, by putting the person, you're putting the team because the team needs to win for you to win.
Yeah,
not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but I don't want to ever root for any of those players.
You don't want to root for a Chief or
certainly a Bronco.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I hope I'm not in that position. I'll take never mind. I was going to say I'll take a Saints Derek Carr over a Patrick Mahomes. Oh,
yeah. We got a caller. Do you think someone's trying to disagree with you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure somebody is.
Should we see what they have to say?
Let's see. Let's put them on here.
Hey, you're on with the Fan Sports Network. Who's this? Hello?
Oh, somebody got.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
Are you there?
What up, boys?
Oh, hi. How's it going? Who's this?
This is Tony Chambers.
Oh, what's up, Tony?
Oh, Tony Chambers.
What's up?
What is up, bro?
Well, you're sitting here talking fantasy, right?
Yeah.
I've got the best scenario ever. My first draft ever. I drafted people that I knew.
Okay.
So, and names that were familiar with me as far as like people I knew. So, for example, this was back in the day. Chris Chambers, Dolphins wide receiver. I had to pick him because his last name was Chambers, right?
Sure. Okay.
I grabbed Isaac Bruce because I knew an Isaac at the time. Tony Romo. That's my strategy.
I was going to say maybe even a Tony Gonzalez.
No, and I probably did that year. I mean, it was one of those things, but there's a different strategy that I'd like to suggest to people. Just go along my way and see what happens. It's a fun way to do it.
I would love for the people that I'm facing in the Double D League to do that. I would love for other people to take that strategy.
Hey, it worked out pretty well. I think I finished third that year somehow, some weird way. My first year, not knowing jack crap. So,
and that's that probably put you in the money too, didn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it did. See, and not bad for a guy that didn't know anything. But yes, my strategy has changed, very similar to what you guys are talking about now.
Yeah, it reminds me. It reminds me of when people are making picks for the for March Madness, where they'll be like, I don't know who has the best looking mascot or something like that. You know, sometimes it's just you gotta have some fun. I get it.
Yeah, but I think you guys are spot on with the Travis Kelce thing. I mean, I've been a big tight end proponent, and I think you're exactly spot on. Those guys are going to go off for 20, 25 points.
Yeah,
and that puts you in such a. And quarterbacks, I agree. And in that last scenario with Patrick Mahomes, even if he's sitting there, dude, there's 10 Patrick Mahomes almost given any given week. You're talking 4 points difference between them. Who cares?
Well, so, and Tony, who's your NFL team, Tony?
The Colts, actually, just because my family's from Indiana. But I am not a NFL team guy. I'm a player guy.
Okay, so you don't 100%. Have any hated teams that you wouldn't select. If there was a
the Cowboys, I do struggle with.
There we go, Tony. I like that.
The Chicken Hawks, just because I know that's Devin's team, I always have a hard time with that one.
Yeah.
I'm just vindictive that way.
I love it.
Well, that's shocking news.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. If there was a fantasy football, and maybe there is, I just don't participate in any, college fantasy football, would you have a Cougar on your team?
Not a chance, no way, and I would never participate in. I don't. I'll tell you this. You know my Ute fandom.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't bet on my Utes no matter what game it is, and I don't care how sure-win it is. I don't care what the odds are. I would never place a bet, even a friendly bet with my buddies, because it changes my whole fandom of watching that game. I'll start worrying about. I remember one year I did go down to Mesquite and I put 14. The spread was like 14 against stupid Weber State or something.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there in the stadium, and I think we only won by 13, and I was pissed. I mean, it's just I don't understand how people bet on the team they're involved in. Now, I will say this. Have you guys watched Quarterbacks on Netflix?
Yes, it's very good. I enjoyed that show.
Oh, dude. Kirk Cousins is one of my new favorite NFL players.
Awesome.
I will be rooting on the Vikings just from that show. I had no idea what an all-star that guy was.
I got to start watching that.
No, he's awesome in that show.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question for you, Tony, before we let you go. Thoughts on the Holy War being back in the same conference now?
Hallelujah. Do you know how hard it's been for me to rouse Provo High School fans for all these years when the game doesn't matter to us? And they would try to get up for it, but they just knew what the outcome was going to be. And so I am just giddy to shut them up, to finally just say, you know what? There's your record in the same conference. Here's ours. Now shut up. I mean, it's just, they don't even get me started on this. But, it's one of these things. I'm all for it. I love every ounce of it. I do feel really bad that the pack exploded like it did. And thank goodness we made the move when we did. And, giddy up, next up.
Now,
and truthfully, I am tired of the Pac-12 schools and the nonsense in most of those communities, traveling to those areas.
Oh, yeah.
And Oregon and all that. I'm so good not going there. And so I'm looking forward to away games especially, to check out some of these new stadiums and places I would never have thought I would be going.
So, Tony, we certainly appreciate you. You are a friend of the station here. Tell us when we should expect to see the new Dixie Direct books come out.
November 1st, as always.
So a little bit off, but not too far. It'll be on us pretty quick, right?
We're right in the process of getting everyone signed up. So that's all I've been doing now that I'm back in town. That is all I'm doing right now.
Nice.
Love it.
It'll be a good one. Good one like always.
We love our Dixie Direct books.
Okay, buddy. Hey, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
I love it when we get people calling into the show.
Beautiful. Love it. And he had a good take, too.
Yeah, we need it more often.
He didn't suck.
No, that's right. Call in. If you guys want to call in, that's as easy as it was. We don't know who's calling in. Just call in and we'll take you.
But if you suck, I'll call you out.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't like the opinion.
But Tony didn't suck. He had a good take.
He had a good take. Yeah,
anyway.
Absolutely. Where do we get to? We were just talking Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Again,
a good one. Let's get to it. We're in the top 5 now of our fantasy football top 5, who you should take in your draft. Number 5 is Nick Chubb. Again, a running backs go high.
Little high for me, even for Nick Chubb, though, just because it's Cleveland. And again, just one of those teams, you don't know what Deshaun Watson's going to be this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Watson's going to take some of Chubb's carries because, pre-suspended Deshaun Watson, he liked to use his legs. Yeah. I don't know about post-Deshaun Watson, post-suspension Deshaun Watson. So Nick Chubb for me here is probably a little high personally.
Understandable. I get that. This guy at number 4, I like him at number 4. This is Austin Eckler. There's times with Austin Eckler that I have to be like, is he a running back or is he a receiver? Just because he does both so well.
Yeah, Eckler.
He really does.
Eckler is really good, and it's so funny. I won't have a Bronco or a Chief on my team, but I really don't have a problem having Chargers on my team. So
he's a good one to have.
And he would be definitely a good one to have. And, you're exactly right. He's a 3-down back. He can run, inside the tackles. He can run outside the tackles. He can come out of the backfield, receive the ball. I like Austin Eckler a lot.
I like it too. Number 3, Jamar Chase. Now, I had him last year, and I got to say, it was worth it. He was so good last year.
Yeah, he'll be off the board certainly in the first round. First 5 picks probably. Kind of depends on how your draft goes.
He was my first overall pick
Was
last
he?
year.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is a stud. And one of the things that I like about Jamar Chase and a couple other receivers around the league is that they're in high-octane offenses. And the Bengals have one of the best quarterbacks. They have one of the best offenses, and he's probably the playmaker on that team.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 2, our last running back, by the way, out of San Francisco, Christian McCaffrey.
I think Christian McCaffrey made it through the full season last year.
He had a great season last year. He did get traded, obviously.
Yeah,
that was a big part of it, but a big part of San Francisco's push through the playoffs, too.
I
to
really,
the NFC Championship game.
You know, Christian McCaffrey is kind of shot back to the top of draft boards. Again, he proved himself last year. If I remember right, he stayed healthy all year long. That's something that he had a hard time doing the 2 years prior after tearing up the league in Carolina for sure. Again, if I have a top 2 pick, Christian McCaffrey's there, I got to take him. I have to take him.
I agree. And last on the list, your number 1 spot goes to Justin Jefferson, where he probably belongs. He was far and away the best fantasy receiver, I'll say. He was the best fantasy receiver last year.
He's a beast. And again, you pair him up with one of Tony's favorite quarterbacks now after watching Quarterback on Netflix, Kirk Cousins. He's a legit stud. I like Justin Jefferson. Taking a wide receiver very first pick of the draft, I might have to be talked into it, but man, Justin Jefferson, complete stud. And he's one of those receivers that I would love to pair up with the quarterback. I like to get those double points. Now, when they have a bad game, then you've got 2 people having a bad game. But I love to pair up high octane receivers with their quarterback because, man, then you get double the points when they score those touchdowns and get those long passes. And I would not mind having Kirk Cousins on my team if I could pair him with Justin Jefferson. I would love to have Joe Burrow on my team paired with Jamar Chase.
I had that last year. It was awesome.
Jeez.
It was awesome.
Love that.
There you have it. Those are your top 12 fantasy picks for this upcoming year. I will say this. I do agree with that list. Sometimes we find these lists and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think there were very many that I would disagree in some placement here or there. But as far as the actual top 12 go, I'm like, that's a good top 12.
So we mentioned Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts.
No Josh Jacobs, though.
Josh Allen was, you're right. Josh Allen was number 3 in quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, number 4. He was 25 overall. Josh Allen was 13 overall. Lamar Jackson, right after Joe Burrow, he is 26 overall. And then Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, and the aforementioned Deshaun Watson, talking about him. Running backs, Christian McCaffrey, we talked about him. Austin Eckler, we talked about him. Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry. Then you get to Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard. Those are both 16 and 17 overall. Josh Jacobs, number 18 overall. I think he would be higher if his contract was in place.
They have to secure the contract.
Najee Harris, number 10 overall. Joe Mixon, so on and so forth. Wide receivers. Again, we talked about Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill. Then you've got Cooper Kupp coming back.
He's got to be healthy. If he's healthy, he's a number 2, number 1.
Stud. Yeah. A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, number 7, number 20 overall. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, and Garrett Wilson with the Jets, number 23.
And I had
overall.
Garrett Wilson last year, and he was a rookie last year, but a surprise of a rookie.
That's top 10 wide receivers. That's legit.
That is legit.
That's legit.
Yeah. That was a good spot for him. Rookie of the year, obviously. So, by the way, tight ends, you mentioned George Kittle. He does come in at number 2 for tight ends. Your top 5 would be Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Dallas Goedert, and TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, I got to have one of those top two. It would pain me to take Kelsey.
Top two is great, and then you do
There's
have a little bit of a
drop.
tier. You know, your top two is
Yeah.
a good tier, and then it drops. I would say those next three are your next tier for sure. And then it gets down to Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller. But again, Darren Waller and Kyle Pitts, healthy. If you're healthy,
If they're
great.
healthy, they have top 3 talent. If
But they're just
healthy.
not healthy.
Yeah.
Not all that often. So, yeah, it's interesting. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're getting into fan, not a fan, right here on the Fan Sports Network. Stick around.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Back at it here in the Findlay Hyundai studio. It's From the Bleachers. Caden Formaster, Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Mark, it is time for one of our favorite segments. Segment where we get to decide if we are simply a fan or not a fan. So, let's get to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, starting off. This one is, just so you know, this is all based around college football.
Okay.
We got a college football themed fan, not a fan today. Number one, Utah. They're going to be in the Big 12. Big things happening. Okay. So Utah, I'm not even going to ask you if you're a fan of them being in the Big 12. We had that conversation on Friday. We kind of talked about it. Is Utah going to be the best football team in the Big 12?
Oh, my.
They have some competition. TCU is really good. Kansas State was really good. Cincinnati has their moments. Heck, even UCF has been really good at times. But again, these are all schools taking that jump up to I don't even know if you call it Power 5 anymore. Obviously, it's
that's changed, and we won't say
kind
power.
of changed.
I don't think we'll use that term anymore.
But to at least the Big Four conferences, I don't know.
Looking at it right now, because Texas is leaving.
Texas and Oklahoma are out.
Oklahoma's out. How are they not the best team?
Here's the thing. Utah, Arizona State, Arizona, Colorado are in. We all know Utah's the best out of all those
Absolutely.
because they were the best in the Pac-12 for
and
the
are
last
you going to
few
tell
years.
me that Cincinnati's better, UCF, BYU, Texas Tech, TCU, Houston, Baylor? No, they're absolutely the best team in that conference already. They should start hanging conference championships.
So you're a fan?
I guess so. I'm a fan.
All right, there you go. Hey, with the Pac-4, I'm calling them the Pac-4.
Oh,
That's what
God.
I'm calling them until something happens with the remaining 4 schools.
That's funny.
The news came out today. Cal and Stanford, they're in talks right now about joining the ACC.
That's the Atlantic Coast Conference?
Yes, fan or not a fan?
I'm not a fan of that. Their title is the Atlantic Coast Conference. And they're going to take somebody from the left coast.
And they're literally in the Bay Area.
Yes. That is
the Pacific Coast.
So stupid. Not a fan.
Okay, well, that brings up my technically second on this tangent over here. The ACC. Let's say if they bring in Cal and Stanford, should they change their conference name to something other than the Atlantic Coast Conference?
They have to, don't they?
I mean, you literally have schools that are on the Pacific Coast.
I mean, now granted, they already had teams not on the coast, like Louisville, to name one. But just looking here too, I guess you could say Pittsburgh is still on the ACC, although it's not on the coast. But now you're just splitting hairs.
The furthest right now, the furthest team west is Notre Dame in Indiana.
Yeah. Is that for football though?
Yeah.
They are.
I think they just barely joined over. Yeah.
Not a fan. They have to change.
So
they have to change.
So you're saying yes, you are a fan of them changing their name.
Absolutely.
If that happens,
a fan of changing the name.
It's an if. I mean, that's a big jump to go from the furthest west being Kentucky and Indiana to all the way to California.
Well, and it's also like leaving the Big 12, leaving that same name when you have 16 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
That just sounds stupid.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, next. And this is my last one. We're keeping it short today.
All right.
Washington State and Oregon State. 2 of the 4 remaining teams in the Pacific Athletic Conference.
Right.
That they should go and join the Mountain West and just take the step down. Fan or not a fan?
I would be a fan of the regional part of it. The fact that the Pac-12 kind of dissolved and screwed them, that sucks. But I would be a fan of the regional part of it, yes.
I do have one more that just popped into my head along these lines.
Yeah.
Fan, not a fan of this. Instead of them joining the Mountain West, what are your thoughts on the teams that are left, including Stanford and Cal?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on, because again, the Pac-12 does have so much history as a conference, Mountain West does not. Merging somehow with the Mountain West and keeping the Pac name.
You just can't keep. I'm okay with that because that's just, to me, that's just logistics. That's just names. That's just naming a conference. I certainly wouldn't be able to explain how they can't be a Power 5 conference. And again, I think that term is going out. I think that was that's such a 2022 term. I think the Power 5 is out. We can't say that because there isn't a Power 5.
And it would not be a power conference at that point. It would not be.
Yeah, I'm good with that because it's regional.
It's semantics.
It's regional. Yeah, it's just semantics. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. Very good. All right, well, there you go. That was it. Fan, not a fan. Pretty good one today.
Yeah, it is.
Fun one.
Lady Thunder in the house.
Lady Thunder are here already.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll get to them shortly. Before we do, because we will have a big, long segment with them here in about, we'll take a break in about 5 minutes and we'll have them in. Real quick, let's go over our broadcast schedule for the first week. This week, by the way, Region 9 football is this week. Can you believe that, first off? That is insane.
I'm just happy about it.
I am too.
Stoked.
My brother, who he calls me often, and he called me this morning and he asked me, he's like, are you excited for it? Or like, you know, what's your thoughts on calling games and stuff? He's like, because it's late nights on Fridays and stuff. I was like, I love it. I'm like, there's not a part of me that's like, oh man, football season's coming. Not a single ounce of me is feeling that way. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I'm so ready to get out there and watch some football,
Me too.
Call some football. So here's what's going on. Here is our broadcast schedule for this first week. All these games, find them on the fansportsnetwork.com. There's a Region 9 tab. If you click on that Region 9 tab, we're going to have all of those games ready to go for you on Friday. So plenty of games going on. This is the overall schedule, and then I'll tell you the broadcasted games coming up next. Snow Canyon is at Stansbury. Logan is at Pineview. Hurricane on the road at Mountain Crest. Dixie is at Springville. Brighton coming into Desert Hills. Morgan coming to Crimson Cliffs. And Richfield is also coming into Cedar. That is the schedule for this upcoming week. The broadcast games, we are going to be broadcasting Logan and Pineview. Hurricane and Mountain Crest, our friends from Cache Valley, are going to be covering that game up north, so they're going to be giving us that feed. You can watch that on the Fan Sports Network. Brighton Desert Hills, that's our game of the week. That one is going to be here on the radio, and also you can watch that one live, being streamed live over on the fansportsnetwork.com. And then our last game is going to be Morgan and Crimson Cliffs, also broadcasting. So we will have 4 games covered for you this week. Lots of cover. 4 of the 7 will be covered.
Love it.
It's
And that's
awesome.
I don't know who else can do that. I don't know of any other. I just don't know of anybody else that can cover 4 games like we're covering.
It's a lot.
Make the Fan Sports Network your only place for high school sports, because we have it. We have it. We will have all of the region games when they're going. We have 4 games this Friday night we'll be covering, and you can find them all at the Fan Sports Network.
Easy enough. Simple, easy. You can find them all there. And then I'm going to throw out one more game because I'm actually kind of excited about this one. Mark, you and I get to take a road trip next week.
We do.
We're going to be on the road, and we're going to be covering Desert Hills at Lehigh.
Yep.
Now, Lehigh was a powerhouse last year. So was Desert Hills. They won the state championship. So that one is going to be a fun one. We're going to Lehigh. We're going to be broadcasting that game next week. And then Mountain Ridge will be at Dixie, broadcasting that one. And Moapa Valley at Hurricane as well. So we will have those 3 games next week. Lots of coverage coming in for the whole season. If you actually go to our website, thefansportsnetwork.com, if you hover over Region 9 and you click on the drop down, it'll say the football schedule for 2023. If you click on that, then you can see all of the information on where we're going to be broadcasting. Anything in bold, that's the ones that's going to be on the fansportsnetwork.com. So
love it.
So go check it out. Lots of good stuff. We have guests in the studio coming up next. Stick around with us. The Desert Hills volleyball team is here. We're going to be talking to them after the break. Stick around.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Corns for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in Southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is from the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster here and Mark Musgrave.
The voice, you know. Or with this crowd in the studio, I can go voice of the Thunder.
That's right.
I mean, you could.
The voice we love.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Coach.
We do have, of course, guests in studio. Mark, give us an introduction here.
Yeah, so we've got the Desert Hills Lady Thunder in studio. We're going to talk about just a little bit about last season, but also we're going to talk to Coach about the upcoming schedule that he has put together for this team and what I would have to assume are high expectations for this team as well. Coach, welcome in, Coach Craig Allred.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys having us in. Always love to get some volleyball pub going out there and see how many people we can get in watching. It's a super fun sport. And I think any of our region games that people can get to, they're going to enjoy.
Yeah. Now, you sent me the schedule a little bit earlier today, and in your text, I'm going to quote you, I am so excited about our schedule this season, end quote. Why are you so excited about this schedule?
Well, we've worked really hard to get some really good teams to come into St. George. We've got Ridgeline coming down. Obviously, they're back-to-back state champions.
Oh,
I know.
I hate Ridgeline. I do. And it's no secret. I've said it before. But anyways, yes, Coach.
So we got Ridgeline coming in. We've got Bishop Gorman coming up from Las Vegas, which they potentially could be a nationally ranked team when they come. And so that'll be on Friday the 25th. Ridgeline's going to get a chance to play Bishop also at our place. And so it's not really a tournament. It's just a challenge, basically. And they're coming in, and we're all playing each other. And then on the following Saturday, we'll get a chance to play Ridgeline. Lehigh's going to come down and join us then also. And it should be a really fun weekend.
So tell me about this preseason schedule. Obviously, you just gave me a bunch of the names there, but what about it excites you and the team about playing against some of this really tough talent?
Well, and the other one that we got coming, our opener is Orem on the 15th, which we got a chance to play them a little bit this summer. They're most likely going to be the #1 ranked team in the state when that comes out, and so it just will be a really kind of good gauge of where we're at early and where we need to where we're starting at and give us kind of a starting spot and a chance to grow from there.
Now, I know you like playing good teams, especially in the preseason, even with the RPI in place, like a team like Bishop Gorman or teams that are outside of our 4A classification. Do you like playing teams like Ridgeline, the fact that you might see them again at the very end of the season? Do you like playing those teams as well?
I just love the competition. I'd love to play the absolute best teams that we can every single night if possible. I just think it's more fun. The kids enjoy it. It's always fun to have I don't know, like a blowout win is kind of nice every once in a while maybe. But in reality, what challenges us is what makes us get better, and those games like that are the ones that are challenging. And I know some people do kind of shy away from that with the RPI, but for me, I'd rather go into the state tournament RPI 8, 9, something like that, and have some of those tough games under our belt.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Coach, thank you again for joining us. Let's get some of the Lady Thunder seniors up here. Now we have 7 in studio. We might have to raise her microphone.
Yeah, I don't know. How do I do that?
She's tall, by the way. Very excited for this season. First off, when you come up to the mic, go ahead, take your turns, but just say your names for our listeners and viewers.
I'm Taylor Graff.
Taylor.
I'm Lauren Larkin.
And Lauren is the tall one, just FYI. What positions do you guys play?
I play outside. I'm middle blocker.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What is one of the most wanted sayings at a Desert Hills game that you would like to hear?
Oh.
And I'm searching for something very particular here.
Oh, Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer.
Yeah, that's what all the hitters are going for.
Yeah, outside hitters, middles, they want that Thor's hammer call. What's your favorite thing about volleyball, Taylor?
Well, for high school, it's the Thunder family, obviously. I feel like we're all really close. I've been best friends with them ever since I moved here. But I think it's just the intensity of it's such a team effort, and it's not like this one-on-one sport where you have your own thing and that's your own job. It's a group effort. You can't get the ball over the net unless you all do your thing. So that's what I love about it.
Yeah, Lauren, to you, same question. What draws you, other than being 6'2", what draws you to volleyball?
I kind of agree with Taylor. I love that it's a team sport, and I love all the girls on my team, and I love playing with them. I love competing with them, and it's really fun to play with other people besides your own self. So,
I mean, I can agree with that. Team sports are always really fun, but kind of along that same mindset. Tell me about this team. I mean, obviously we have tons of seniors. You've been playing with each other for a long time. What has it been like to go up through this program, and now you're starting your senior year together? How's that feel?
It's crazy, honestly. The fact that I'm a senior right now, I it's not even real. I have been with these girls since 8th grade. Me and Lauren played club together, one of my first club seasons. As soon as I moved here, I fell in love with the sport, and getting to I don't think there's another team, honestly, that has our bond like we do. Thunder family is our saying. We are there for each other on and off the court during and out of season, and it's the family. Yeah.
So, question for both of you as well. What's your favorite thing during a volleyball match? What do you, I think I have the answer for you two, but what's your favorite thing during a volleyball match? And then who do you like to beat the most in the region? I think I might know your answer, Lauren. We'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
Taylor, let's go to you first.
Okay, my favorite team to beat is Crimson. I feel like they have been our biggest competition. This year, I think Cedar's going to be the funnest game for us.
Okay. Yeah. Lady Red's always they're and you guys lost to them last year.
Yeah, we
if
did.
I remember right.
We did.
We lost. So a little payback.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a good team. Some of us have played club with them, so we have this bond off season. But once we're on the court, it's going to be friendly competition. It's going to be a good game.
Awesome, Lauren.
My favorite team to beat is Dixie.
I wonder why. Tell us why.
I really do. I actually transferred, and so I transferred from Dixie. So it's fun to play those girls again.
So you were with the Lady Thunder last year on the JV level because of your transfer. This year you're a senior and you're ready to go.
I'm so excited.
I can tell. Oh, man, I'm getting chills already. I love volleyball. I do.
You know, that's one thing that I will say, Mark, whenever we're talking sports and stuff, he's like, we have to talk volleyball because I love volleyball.
I do.
And
In fact,
he loves calling volleyball on PA for you guys as well. So yeah,
I was
he
just
loves
telling somebody the story today about getting the gig at Desert Hills where the AD at the time said, now I want the same voice for all of fall and winter sports. That's volleyball, football, girls and boys basketball. Went into this thinking I want football. That's what you go and do. This football is Friday Night Lights. And I'm like, volleyball? Really? Now it's my favorite. It's my favorite. So anyway, thank you. Let's get 2 more girls up here. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. State your name over here.
I'm Brooklyn Wilson.
I'm Trinity Pilimai.
What are your expectations for this year? Brooklyn, you first.
I'm just really excited. I know our team, we've faced some adversity together, and I think we've learned the amount of discipline it takes to be a top team. And so I think we're working hard at practice, and I think it'll pay off.
My expectation, I feel like we all kind of have the same one, but I feel like the expectation is less of what our end goal is and more of the process in the middle of it. I feel like more of my expectation is to grow as a team and just be solid by the end of it. No matter how we end up, just having a solid team that we feel comfortable ending the year with.
And what positions do you guys play?
I'm a defensive specialist.
Okay.
And I'm outside right side.
What's your favorite defense that you like to play, Brooklyn?
My favorite defense.
Your favorite defensive play, would it be, what do they call that? The pancake?
Oh.
That is so awesome when that happens, by the way.
I would have to say my favorite thing is to defend Lauren.
Yeah?
Anytime you get a good dig on her or something like that, it just feels really good.
Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Trinity?
What's my favorite?
Oh, what's your, first off, what's your position?
Oh, outside right side.
Oh, outside. Okay.
Yes.
So you're a hitter.
I am.
So I guess then what is your favorite play? Like if you were to walk off after a game and been like, that one thing that I did was the best thing I did, what would that be?
Ooh. A hit down the line always feels good.
A kill?
Yeah.
Yep.
She's being humble, I'll tell you.
Yeah, jump in here, coach. Jump in here,
being
coach.
humble. She hits the heck out of the ball.
Yeah.
Her thing is when she gets a hold of it, it's going to the floor. She's got some power.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you, Coach.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
My goodness, so awesome. Same question to you, gals, that I asked Lauren and Taylor. Whew. Stress. What teams do you guys like to beat the most in the region?
Definitely Crimson. I mean, just the fact that we've just always had that school rivalry, but
Yeah.
also Cedar. Cedar has a really good team coming back.
Yeah, they do.
And yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
Trinity?
I'll just give the obvious answer. Pineview.
Okay. I love it.
It's just fun.
So Lauren with Dixie, you with Pineview.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the way to go.
It is.
With the
It is.
answer. Yeah.
It is, for probably on many levels,
Right.
for sure.
Correct.
You always like to beat your friends,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
but you like to beat where you came from, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, what about, this can be for both of you as well, favorite place to play that's not your home gym, that's not the Thunderdome? Where do you like to play outside of Desert Hills High School?
In region?
Sure. It's a tough one.
I like playing at Crimson just because it's close to our school, therefore everyone comes.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge thing with the student section, and it's just a lot of energy, and it's just really fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think Crimson's technically our rivals in almost every single sport, so everyone wants to be there, and that's definitely the game of the
Love it.
region. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you as well, this is going to be very different this year when it comes to winning a state championship, just because of all of the realignments and everything going on with all the different regions. Are you guys excited for more competition in the playoffs?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Better competition is always so much more fun. Those games are fuel, whether you win or lose. Any of those teams will give us a run for our money, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, a lot of teams. I can't wait for UVU here in a couple of months. It'll be on us before we know it. Oh, my gosh. I'll be bawling my eyes out at senior night. Anyway, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I was going to say, I was thinking about that actually on the drive over about how the colleges are going through all of this reclassification and different conference and all that. And I'm like, well, we kind of went through the same thing with adding all of our new teams. It went from 13. I think we're at, 27 now. And so it's kind of the same deal a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. We have two. They have to adjust the microphones now.
You can pull that down if you need to.
My goodness.
Perfect.
Wow. So what are your gals' names? And tell us what position you guys play.
I'm Kara Richins, and I'm a defensive specialist.
Okay.
I'm Jayla Fowler, and I'm a defensive specialist.
You're not outside hitters or middles?
In our dreams.
There's probably a day when you were little girls when you were thinking like, man, I can't wait to just go spike the ball down someone's throat, and then you grow up and you don't really grow up too much.
But
But never happened.
That's what I love about volleyball, though, is every team member is so crucial to success. Tell us a little bit about being a defensive specialist. What do you like to do best? What do you do best? Let me ask you that.
My favorite serve receive. I love getting a perfect pass for Tatum. It's so much fun.
I love defense. I love it so much. I love the energy that comes from it, from a good play.
Yeah.
Just love it.
Now, when you say defense, you're talking digs and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
From those other big hitters on the other side of the net and setting up, that kind of. So you guys, we're going to talk to Tatum here in a second. So you guys you dig the ball. Hopefully you can dig it to where she can set it perfectly to one of these gals, right? Is that kind of how it works?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, this is poor radio. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, it's much easier to kind of decipher what I just went through. But
I'm going to jump into just
talk to me
a little bit. I mean, these guys are both just lightning quick.
Yeah.
And the great big kills, right? Lauren is going to get a ton of these where they just go straight down and everybody is in shock and awe. But the energy that the defense brings us is like no other. I mean, we make these crazy scramble plays that nobody thought the ball could get up. And you know, our 3DSs in here, or whoever else happens to be in there, it just creates so much energy. And so I know they're kind of being humble, but I mean, they're both lightning quick. I can't wait for you to get a chance to see these guys on the court.
And I really think that's kind of what Ridgeline did so well last year is defense. I remember so many plays up there at UVU that you thought they were hitting the ball completely out of bounds, and somehow that ball came back, and it seemed like they had a strong defensive team. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, they were just well-rounded, honestly.
Yeah.
They really, they had great hitters, they had great defense, and they've got us the last couple of years, but we're pretty excited about taking a shot at them and everybody else this year.
Well, same questions to you gals. I'm going to steal one of Caden's questions. Where's your favorite place to play other than the Thunderdome, and who do you like to beat the most in region?
For me, it's Crimson. I like to play there the best because the student sections are so hype.
Yeah.
And I like to beat Crimson, too, because they're our biggest rivals.
Yeah.
I really like to play at Crimson, like everyone else said, but I really like to play Cedar. I think we kind of know the other team. We kind of play club together, so we kind of know each other. And so it's like this rivalry. It's like we're friends off the court, and then on the court, it's like game mode, you know?
Right.
I think that's super cool.
I love it.
Do you feel like there's more of an intensity in those games when it's like you're playing against your friends? Because I remember back when I was in high school, I was a runner. I did cross country, track, and stuff like that. But I always remembered when I was really close to one of my friends from the other teams, it was like, I got to pass this guy. I got to beat him. Does it feel the same way out there playing volleyball against your friends?
I think so. I think it's like, I feel like I just have to like show them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I'm good too.
You feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I love playing my friends from club.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Awesome. Girls, thank you so much. We got one more, though.
Oh, boy, I'm the last one. Okay.
Yeah, you're the last one.
Last one.
State your name.
Okay, I'm Tatum Gardner.
Okay.
And I'm a setter.
So you are a setter. All region setter, too, right?
I think
you were all region last year, wasn't she?
I think I was second
team.
Second team all region.
Right. Well, we're gonna bump that
okay.
up this
I'm
year.
okay with that.
Yeah, we're gonna bump that up. Your role on the Lady Thunder volleyball team. So, I mean, I kind of know what a set is, but tell some of our listeners and viewers that might not know a lot about volleyball exactly what you do.
Okay, so basically, I'm the person that always gets the second ball. So the second touch, you get a pass, set, and a hit. I'm the set. And I get to call the plays. I get to kind of be creative, tell my hitters what to do, and they listen to me most of the
Nice.
time. So it's great.
So in some ways, you're just kind of like the captain of the ship out there during the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. I like to think
In
so.
some ways, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so tell me about this upcoming season. It's senior year. What are some of your expectations coming into this one?
Man, I've been dreaming about this year for so long, but I would probably say I just want to compete and I just want it to be fun. I mean, the best games are the closest games and the games that you just put your all into it. And we have our whole group coming back. We've played together for so long. We're kind of on the same page in that way. And I just feel like we're all going to go all out at practice and games. We've already worked so hard in practice, and I feel like we're ready to compete again.
I was going to save this question for Coach, but I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
So a couple of you got a few juniors on the varsity squad as well. Tell us a little bit about the players that aren't here in studio today. Who should we be looking out for?
Well, two girls we had on our varsity team last year. We had Brooke Robinson and Hallie Heath. They're returners, and we honestly, we kind of feel like they're seniors with us just because, we've played with them for so long. They've been with us. They're very good leaders with us. But we also have a lot of girls coming up from sophomore, and they're really giving us a run for our money. I mean, they're awesome. They compete really hard in practice, and we're all one team out there.
Yeah. So. What are your expectations for this year?
For this year, I mean, we have a couple team goals, end goals. We want to win region, we want to win state. But honestly, I feel like it's just pushing each other to the limits at practice because that's how we're going to get there. I feel like we just want to have fun. We want to make the most of it. So, yeah.
Who do you want to beat the most?
Crimson and Cedar. I love them both.
Now,
I'm noticing a pattern.
Yeah. And I will have to say there's one team that's missing from this that I really thought that more people would choose. It's Snow Canyon.
Yeah.
That's a tough place to play. Their student body, I have always felt this when it comes to girls sports, that Snow Canyon, they probably have the strongest student body when it comes to girls sports.
For sure, I agree.
And they've always got a
second strongest.
Yeah.
The student body.
Yeah.
Desert Hills needs to do a little bit better.
I feel like we get pretty good support out for our volleyball kids.
Now I have Thunder goggles just like you do, Coach. I'm telling you, Snow Canyon student body, I think they show up a little bit stronger than even our student body.
Well, that's a challenge. We'll have to figure out some ways.
Yeah,
to
we do.
Especially with travel. When you're playing an away game, make sure they show up.
All right.
Make sure they show up.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they do a pretty darn good job. And I almost said a word that I shouldn't say.
It gets to you.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Anyways.
But Snow Canyon does they have a great
do.
program. I mean, Marquet's done awesome with them. They've been super, super successful. And I think sometimes the teams nobody is talking about end up being the teams at the end. That's where we were at a couple years ago. We weren't anywhere near the tops as the initial season and even region stuff came out, and we were lucky enough to kind of get there and like I said, you just never know until you get into it. And our region is just tough.
So good.
Every single game, you could be a team that hasn't won a game in region and be in an absolute dogfight with the undefeated team in region. It just is. It's how our region is, and it's part of what makes it great.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, do you feel like because of where you're at right now with as many seniors as you have, how well you did last year, is there a little bit of a target on Desert Hills volleyball back right now?
I think this is my 4th year at Desert Hills, and ever since I've been here, I think that target has been there. I think the program has developed that, and it's developed because of success. And so I think that's a testament to the kids that have come up and and idolized the seniors when they were freshmen and done everything that they can to get there. Just like these guys, you know, they talk about the seniors when they were freshmen and sophomores, and we want to be like them, and we want to do the things that they were able to do. And so I think that tradition kind of snowballs on top of itself, and these guys have done a good job of that. But yeah, we definitely feel like, you know, we're going to get teams best, which is what we love.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we have Crimson in studio. Wednesday we have Snow Canyon in studio. If you want a little sneak peek at what they want to say, maybe some bulletin board material. Maybe
we did love that you're having some volleyball stuff in. Like you said, it is such a fun sport to watch. And I can't wait for you to get a chance. I mean, you let that, you know, voice of the Thunder go, and you're going to have lots of hammer, and we've got some power this year. So I can't wait. It's going to be pretty exciting.
I can't wait, because I don't use that term very often during basketball, because we just don't have a lot of height on the basketball. So I'm ready to use it. I'm ready to use it all up during volleyball.
I do tease my brother a little bit about that, about the volleyball sometimes is towering over our basketball. But
yeah. Well, we got to wrap it up. We only got 10 seconds left in the show. So thanks again for coming in. We appreciate having you, and best of luck this season.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Okay, we're out of here. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.